This is the viral clip. Yeah, I think this is.
So you had complaints from one programmer who said you guys are basically stealing people's stuff and not paying them, and then he wound up murdered. What was that?
Also a great tragedy. He committed suicide.
Do you think he committed suicide?
I really do.
Have you looked?
This was like a friend of mine. This is like a guy that, and not a close friend, but this is someone that worked at OpenAI for a very long time. I was really shaken by this tragedy. I spent a lot of time trying to, read everything I could, as I'm sure you and others did too, about what happened. It looks like a suicide to me.
Why does it look like a suicide?
It was a gun he had purchased. It was this is like gruesome to talk about, but I read the whole medical record. Does it not look like one to you?
No, he was definitely murdered, I think. There were signs of a struggle, of course. The surveillance camera, the wires had been cut. He had just ordered takeout food, come back from a vacation with his friends on Catalina Island. No indication at all that he was suicidal, no note, and no behavior. He had just spoken to a family member on the phone, and then he's found dead.
If he shot himself, he would have probably fallen right there and on the spot, right? If you want to commit suicide, you will not shoot yourself maybe on the chest where you will have to suffer breathing before you die. I'm sure people who commit suicide by gun, they blew their head off. They shoot themselves in the head, or they probably put the gun inside the mouth or something around the head where it will just go like that. Not shooting yourself somewhere that you still struggle and move from room to room. It doesn't make sense. But anyways, let's continue.
Dead with blood in multiple rooms, so that's impossible. Seems really obvious he was murdered. Have you talked to the authorities about it?
I have not talked to the authorities about it.
And his mother claims he was murdered on your orders.
Do you believe that?
I'm asking.
You just said it, so do you believe that?
I think that it is worth looking into, and if a guy comes out and accuses your company of committing crimes, I have no idea if that's true or not, of course, and then is found killed and there are signs of a struggle, I don't think it's worth dismissing it. I don't think we should say, well, he killed himself when there's no evidence that the guy was depressed at all. I think, and if he was your friend, I would think you would want to speak to his mom or...
I did offer, she didn't want to.
So, do you feel that, when people look at that and they're like, it's possible that...
About the signs, showing signs of depression or signs of suicide before committing suicide. There are actually people who have committed suicide without showing any signs at all. But according to what they are describing, Tucker Carlson is saying, and according to what the family said, right, the person was happy. He calling his family. He went on vacation. He ordered food and he was having a good time. It's not like someone who things were not going well for him, or you would expect that, things were not going well for him, right? Things were going well for him and he was having a good time. That is why they don't kind of believe that he will actually commit suicide. What will cause him at that point to commit suicide when everything is going well for him? It's except he was crazy, and he was not crazy. And I see where Tucker Carlson is coming from.
Happened, do you feel that reflects the worries they have about what's happening here? Like, people are afraid that this is like...
I haven't done too many interviews where I've been accused of like...
Oh, I'm not accusing you at all. I'm just saying his mother says that. I don't think a fair read of the evidence suggests suicide at all. I just don't see that at all. And I also don't understand why the authorities, when there's signs of a struggle and blood in 2 rooms on a suicide, like, how does that actually happen? I don't understand how the authorities could just kind of dismiss that as a suicide. I think it's weird.
You understand how this sounds like an accusation?
Of course. And I certainly, let me just be clear once again, not accusing you of any wrongdoing, but I think it's worth finding out what happened. And I don't understand why the city of San Francisco has refused to investigate it beyond just calling it a suicide.
This may sound like an accusation, but Tucker Carlson is kind of right. He's kind of valid in his questions, right? He's asking valid questions, but to some Altman, it might sound like an accusations too, because at this point, Tucker Carlson is not only asking some Altman, but he's talking to millions of people. Right, millions of people are listening, and he's thinking also about what people will believe after the kind of questions Tucker Carlson is asking. Right.
I mean, I think they looked into it a couple of times, more than once, as I understand it. I saw and I will totally say, when I first heard about this, it sounded very suspicious to me.
Yes.
And I know you had been involved in.
Was mother
You were
reached
asked to look
out
into
to
the
me.
case.
And I don't know anything about it. It's not my world.
She just reached out cold.
She reached out cold.
Wow.
And I spoke to her at great length, and it scared the crap out of me. The kid was clearly killed by somebody. That was my conclusion, objectively, with no skin in the game.
And you, after reading the latest report,
Yes.
Like, look,
I immediately called a member of Congress from California, Ro Khanna, and said, "This is crazy. You've got to look into this." And nothing ever happened. And I'm like, what is that?
again, I think this is, I feel strange and sad debating this and having to defend
not
myself
even
seems
debating
totally
it, I was
crazy.
just
And you are a
asking.
little bit accusing me, but
It
this was
stays.
like a wonderful person and a family
The
that's
energy
clearly
is
struggling.
stays here.
Yes.
And I think you can totally take the point that you're just trying to get to the truth of what happened, and I respect that.
Damn.
But I think his memory and his family deserve to be treated with a level of respect and grief that I don't quite feel here.
I'm asking at the behest of his family. So I'm definitely showing them respect. And I'm not accusing you of any involvement in this at all. What I am saying is that the evidence does not suggest suicide, and for the authorities in your city to elide past that and ignore the evidence that any reasonable person would say adds up to a murder, I think is very weird, and it shakes the faith that one has in our system's ability to respond to the facts.
Tucker Carlson is valid. I mean, it must not be that Sam Altman was the one who killed the person, right? It's just saying that the evidence and what the authorities are saying does not align at all. When you look at the evidence, when you look at the scene, the person was actually killed by somebody. So that is all he's saying. It could be someone else. Yeah, since it happened just after the person was whistleblowing about OpenAI. Yeah, that's why it raised more questions towards OpenAI.
So what I was going to say is after the first set of information that came out, I was really like, man, this doesn't look like a suicide. I'm confused. This looks like...
Okay, so I'm not being crazy here at
Well,
all.
but then after the second thing came out and the more detail, I was like, oh, okay.
What changed your mind?
Good question.
The second report on the way the bullet entered him and the sort of person who had like followed the sort of likely path of things through the room. I assume you looked at this too.
Yes, I did.
And what about that didn't change your mind?
It just didn't make any sense to me. Why would the security camera wires be cut? And how did
I did
he
not actually
wind up bleeding in 2 rooms after shooting himself? And why was there a wig in the room that wasn't his? And has there ever been a suicide where there's no indication at all that the person was suicidal who just ordered takeout food? I mean, who orders DoorDash and then shoots himself? I mean, maybe. I've covered a lot of crimes as a police reporter. I've never heard of anything like that. So no, I was even more confused.
I did not actually get the point of Sam Altman about what changed.
This is where it gets into, I think, a
Tucker
little
Carlson
bit.
just asked, "What changed your mind?" And I didn't get his answer. To be honest, I didn't get his answer since I'm watching this real time.
But then after the second thing came out and the more detail, I was like, oh, okay.
What changed your mind?
The second report on the way the bullet entered him and the sort of person who had like followed the sort of likely path of things through the room. I assume you looked at this too.
Yes, I did.
And what about that didn't change your mind?
It just
Yeah,
didn't
you
make
didn't
any
answer
sense
the
to me.
question.
Why would the security camera wires be cut? And how did he wind up bleeding in 2 rooms after shooting himself? And why was there a wig in the room that wasn't his? And has there ever been a suicide where there's no indication at all that the person was suicidal who just ordered takeout food? I mean, who orders DoorDash and then shoots himself? I mean, maybe. I've covered a lot of crimes as a police reporter.
Now
I've
you
never heard
listen
of
to what
anything
Dr.
like that.
Carlson
So
said.
no, I was even more
to the same
confused.
question about what changed his mind,
I-
right? And listen to what Sam Altman said. I totally understand that at this point, Sam Altman was not expecting this kind of question, even if he was expecting the question, but he was not expecting that Dr. Carlson will go fully on the topic like that.
Painful, just not the level of respect I'd hope to show to someone with this kind of mental
I get
illness.
it. I totally get it. It's
People
just his
do commit
family
suicide
asked
without
me.
notes a lot. Like that happens.
For sure.
People definitely order food they like before they commit suicide. Like this is an incredible tragedy, and I.
That's his family's view, and they think it was a murder, and that's why I'm asking the question.
If I were his family, I am sure I would want answers, and I'm sure I would not be satisfied with really any. I mean, there's nothing that would comfort me in that, you know.
Right.
Like, so I get it. I
This
also
is
care
the
a lot
only way
about
out. This is
respect
this is
to him.
a valid answer. This is a good answer to get out of the
Just not
situation,
the level of respect I'd
the
hope to
topic.
show to someone with this
Yeah.
kind of mental
I get it. I totally get it. It's
People
just
do
his
commit
family
suicide.
asked.
Anyway, let me know what
A
you
lot.
think. Let me know
Like that
what you
happens.
think,
For sure.
guys.
People definitely
And yeah,
order
I
food
saw
they
this
like
clip.
before they commit suicide.
It was
This is-
the half part
this
of
is
it. It was
incredible
just like some
tragedy.
seconds, and yeah,
That's
and
his
I wanted
family's view.
and I
They
wanted
think
to
it was a
react to
murder,
the full
and that's
topic
why I'm
of the
asking the question.
conversation.
If I were his
Let me know
family,
what you
I am
think about
sure
this.
I would
But the
want
energy
answers, and
was
I'm sure
tense,
I would
and
not
I
be
have to say,
satisfied
Dr. Carlson,
really any. I mean, there's
Dr.
nothing
Carlson
that would
really knows how to
comfort
do
me in
his
that,
thing.
you know?
He
get
he
it.
asks the right questions.
I also care
Yeah,
a lot
let me know what
about
you think, and I'll see you in the next one. But don't
respect
forget
to
to
him.
subscribe.
Right.